2 for Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi movie from 2009. So, a loan officer who evicts an old woman from her home finds herself the recipient of a supernatural curse. Desperate, she turns to a seer to try and save her soul while evil forces work to push her to a breaking point. Written by Sam Raimi and Iman Raimi. Assume that's his brother. I didn't really realize it, but he helped co-write a bunch of his stuff. Like Drag Me to Hell, Evil Dead, or Army of Darkness. Okay, not Evil Dead, but Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 3. Spider-Man 3, Ash vs. Evil Dead, Darkman. So, I didn't realize that. I know they have a cousin, or is it his youngest brother who's an actor, and he was like in Hercules and stuff. But anyways, that's interesting. This stars Alison Lohman. She's very good. Very good actress. Very likable. But I don't think she kind of retired after 2016. I don't know why, but she was in Gamer, Drag Me to Hell, The Vatican Tapes. I haven't seen that. So, but yeah, pretty good actress, pretty attractive too. So, her boyfriend's Justin Long. He's like a psychology student or something. And that's the setup for the movie. So yeah, she's working in a bank and she's deciding on who gets loans or not. And actually, if you could smash that like button, that'd be great. It really helps the channel. So if you just smash the like button, and onto the review. So, and she denies this old lady like an extension on her loan. She hasn't been paying it. You know, she's very old, and she denies it because she wants to get a promotion. And she talks to her boss, and the boss is like, "Well, it's up to you. You know, I mean, do you think is this in the interest of the bank?" And it's not. So she does that. The lady gets violent. Some really disgusting scenes, like when the lady takes her teeth out. She's like eating some of like her candies. She steals all of her candies. It's funny. And then she's like begging her, and she calls security, and then she attacks her, and she's trying to touch her, but she can't grab her. And this will become important later. So, and really right off the bat, you like Lohman, but you are kind of like, I don't know, couldn't you have, I mean, maybe given her like a year extension or something, um, so, you kind of understand the old lady. Doesn't mean you sympathize with her, because what happens is she curses her to hell. And then in a very brutal scene, probably my favorite scene in the movie actually is in the basement in the car. I think that's my favorite scene in the movie because it's very creepy. She walks out to go to her car. She's in the car, and there's this handkerchief that's flying, and it is CGI, but how are you gonna do that? I mean, they control the handkerchief, and it's going. And in his handkerchief you saw earlier for the lady that she was using. And then it goes kind of past the car, and then she looks back, and the lady's in her car. So this lady can like transport, an ethereal woman that, has powers beyond this world. Apparently not enough to get money, though, to pay her loan, but whatever. And I really like that scene because they're like struggling in the car. She puts it in reverse. She like smashes into a car behind her. Um, she then floors it, smashes it. She puts her seatbelt on. The lady goes flying, breaks all of her fake teeth, and then she's like knobbing her with her mouth, with her teeth out. It's very disgusting, but it's like for me that this movie exemplifies Raimi horror, and it's been copied a lot. I mean, Shaun of the Dead, I think, did it pretty good. I just think often it's not done well at all. Like they just can't quite do it like Raimi does. And this scene exemplifies it perfectly because it's brutal, it's intense, but it's kind of funny in some ways. Like when she's knobbing her with her teeth that are out, and um just attacking her, and it's kind of in a comedic way. So I think Sam Raimi is really like the master of towing that line between intense horror and some comedy inserted, which I always it always works for me. Even in like Spider-Man 2, in that scene when they're with Doc Ock, and then his whatever octopus tentacles activate. Seems very like Raimi horror. It's like intense, it's brutal, but there's some comedic effect there. And obviously in Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness, done very well. Darkman also. Um, so yeah, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie. Good example of Raimi horror. The movie opens with a very brutal scene, and they're trying to exorcise this demon from this little kid. Doesn't work. Little kid gets dragged to hell. I think watched by his mother while he's slowly dragged into hell. Very brutal. Um, and then so she gets cursed. The old lady grabs his button off of her. She says something, and then she like breathes on the button, and then she passes out. Loman. She passes out, and she doesn't really know what was happening. What happened. She starts to kind of see. This movie does really well with playing with shadows too. And she sees some weird shadows in her house. She hears some strange things. The Lamia is like basically the demon that this lady sent to take her to hell. So, and she even is trying to avoid it in the house. It kind of comes in the house, and it's like this shadow creature, and then she's able to get away from it in there. And basically, the Lamia is just exploring territory that it will investigate further later. So it's almost like a hint of things to come. Um, but yeah, I mean, I won't go through the whole movie, but Jason Long is the boyfriend, and or Justin Long, and I don't know. Some people are he's kind of hit or miss with me. Like I can Barbarian. I didn't like that movie, but he's good in it. Especially there's this really funny scene where he finds out that the real estate will be like a third bigger than it really is because there's these underground tunnels and stuff, and he's like, oh, can I get does this count as like a real estate like for square footage? And I thought that scene was hilarious, best scene in the movie. But um he's kind of hit or miss with me. I mean, he's in Tusk. I didn't like that movie. I haven't liked the Kevin Smith movie since, I don't know, what, Clerks 2, I guess. But I watched Tusk. I didn't really like it. So, maybe some good practical effects in it. But speaking of practical effects, this movie has some good practical effects. There is a few shots of bad CGI, like think like the old lady appears and she like vomits on her. Um, and even like her eyes come out and then hits Loman. That looked kind of fake to me. Didn't really age that well. Maybe back then it looked better, but you could probably touch that up. Um, or like the scene in when Loman is in the office, the bank office. Yeah, it's the bank office, and she's getting sick. She doesn't understand why, and then all of a sudden she just vomits blood. It's like dripping down her nose. Her boss is like, "Are you okay?" And he gets close to her, and she just vomits blood all over David Paymer, good actor who's her boss. Looked all practical blood to me, and and then he's like, "Did I get any in my mouth? Did I get any into my mouth?" I think it's a very like real reaction. Reggie Lee is like, works in the bank with her. He's trying to get the promotion above her. He's very good as like just a slimy guy you do not like. Uh, you could tell this guy will do anything to one up his competition, but he's very good at what he does, and he does that role. Um, Dilip Rayo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's in Inception as kind of, I mean, a little bit of a similar role, but in this, he's the seer. He's the guy with the knowledge of the underworld that she goes to, and he's very good, and he helps her out throughout the movie. Um, I like when he finally figures out what she did with the button, and she has the button, and then he kind of like backs away. He's like, "Get that away from me," because then in the end, it's kind of figured out that she has to gift it to someone else, and but yeah, I'll get into spoilers now. So overall, very good horror movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes long, around there. It's not overly long. If you like Evil Dead 1 through 3 and the Spider-Man 1 and 2, or three has its moments. Check it out. For me, this is kind of the last movie Sam Raimi did that I'm really into. Um, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, he produced and I think directed a few episodes of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I watched like the first 2 seasons of that, I think. I liked it, so I guess I liked that. But for a feature length movie, because after this he did Oz the Great and the Powerful. Not really into that movie. I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible. Sam Raimi's a good director. He's not really gonna make a really terrible movie, at least that I've seen. Um, but for me, this is like his last movie that I was really into. So, and this is his wheelhouse. Horror, a little bit of comedy, um, intense. I like it has its own rules. It follows the rules pretty well, I think. So, yeah, we'll get into spoilers now. So, she figures out with the seer that the only way to get rid of this is to gift it away. She actually, because at first she tries to give a blood sacrifice, because the guy's like, maybe that would work. And she does that. She kills her little cat. Very brutal scene. She just starts stabbing the cat. Um, it's funny when he tells her that she's like, I'm a vegetarian. I volunteer at puppy shelters. She's like, I can't do that. And then he's like, um, you will be surprised what will do when the Lamia comes for you. So, uh, but yeah, that guy's very good. He's in it actually a good amount. Dilip Rayo Rao, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. He's a really good actor. I'm sorry, man. Um, but he's in Inception. I haven't really seen him in a lot else. But okay, he's in the new Avatar. Oh, he's in the first Avatar. That's how much I know about that movie. I've like watched it like once, but um yeah, very good actor. I'd like to see him in more stuff. Okay. Yeah, in Inception. Maybe Nolan should put him in his next movie. I don't know. But yeah, so that fails. The sacrifice fails. She has to gift it to someone, and she's gonna gift it to a random person. She can't do that. Then she sees this old guy with his mask on, air mask, um, whatever, purified or concentrated air or whatever. And then he's with like his old wife, and she's just like, "Oh, I can't do that." So, and then she figures, "Oh, maybe I'll call Stu Rubin, Reggie Lee, the actor." And earlier he did some shady stuff with her files, messed up her files, which is totally illegal because it's like these are people's loans for their houses or whatever. So she says, "I know you did that. I have evidence of it. I'm going to turn you in unless you do this one thing." And he's like, "Okay, I'll do anything." And she almost gives it to him, and he's even like, "Just give it to me." It's just an envelope with the button in it. She can't do it. So um so Allison Lohman, she's a good character. She is likable, even though in the beginning you don't really like what she does, I would say, because it's like, can't you just give her an extension? I mean, at least try. But no, she's all about her career. And she even tries to give her the extension, but she goes to her house, her daughter's there, but she's dead. So, you know, so she died soon after. She cursed her to hell. She tries to give her the curse when she's buried underneath the ground. And yeah, so now it's total spoilers. So none of this works. And in the end, she's with her boyfriend at a train station. And her boyfriend, and she gave her boyfriend this rare coin because he's a coin collector in an envelope. During when they were driving the car, they had to slam on the brakes. A bunch of stuff got all mixed up. So the boyfriend's coin was mixed up with the button. So what she actually put in the old lady's mouth, in her grave, was the coin, not the button. So the curse is still on her. So she freaks out. Think then the Lamia, the shadow knocks her into the whatever the train station area, and that scene is brutal, man. And then Justin Long, who this whole time didn't believe any of this stuff because he's like a very science, he's a psychologist. He's just like, oh, she's just kind of going crazy. And then you slowly see her being dragged to hell. And man, very brutal scene. I saw this in the theater. I'll always remember that. Like this movie opens with someone being dragged to hell, a little boy, and it closes with the lead being dragged to hell. So, um, this is, yeah, it's very brutal, very brutal. And then Justin Long's reaction is very good. Very, he's a good actor. Just, I don't know, sometimes it's a little annoying, but he's a very good actor. He's just watching this happen. I think he has a tear going down his face, and um yeah, and then the scene, and then the movie ends, and boom, Drag Me to Hell pops up. I just love the way this movie's edited and put together. And I think a very underrated kind of horror movie that's not really talked about much at all. Um, Kind of forgotten. I mean, at the time it came out, I remember most people that saw it liked it. I think, I mean, I can't see if you watch this if you're a Raimi fan. You're like, okay, I like it. Maybe you like Evil Dead 1 and 2 better. I'd probably put Evil Dead 1 and 2 better, Spider-Man more, but um yeah, I will say I think maybe the Exorcist Believer director copied the ending of Drag Me to Hell in the beginning because the way that, spoilers for that movie, but that movie is the worst movie of last year. Just avoid it. But anyways, spoilers. One of the little girls gets dragged to hell. Very similar way. especially watching it again this time, Drag Me to Hell, I was like, I bet he copied that. I think he did. I can't prove that. That's just, my opinion. Just kind of throwing, it's just my opinion. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. It just seems similar to me. It just seems very similar. But, um, anyways, solid movie. Um, and yeah, and another good one from Raimi. So, but that's about it. See you next time.